the boys whose greed turned him into a tree.
In the days when the moon still listened to the voices of men and the wind carried secrets between villages, there was a village called Umuaka. The people of Umuaka were farmers, hunters, and palm wine tappers who lived in peace with the land. Their laughter rang loud during moonlight festivals. Their songs carried across the river, and their children played beneath the shade of a tall iroko tree. But at the edge of Umuaka stood a place no one dared to enter, the forbidden compound. The compound was surrounded by a wall of red earth, high enough to hide whatever lived inside. Its gates were of ancient wood, sealed by vines that grew thicker with each passing year. No smoke of cooking fires ever rose from its courtyard. No footstep echoed within, and yet at night the villagers swore they heard whispers drifting from beyond its walls. Whispers of voices not of this world. The villagers hid to the warning of the elders. Mothers often told their children that if they played too close, unseen hands will pull them in. Hunters crossing the nearby forest claimed sometimes they heard sound of flutes from within the compound, though no human had ever lived there for years. Long ago, so the story went, that compound belonged to a mighty king, a man so wealthy his floors were said to be paved with cowries, and his wives wore coral beads, heavy enough to bow their necks. But wealth made him arrogant, and arrogance made him blind. He ignored the counsels of the ancestors, abandoned sacrifices, and used his power to oppress his people. When he died, the spirits sealed his greed within his home, turning his riches into a curse. From that day, the compound became a place of fear. People passed by with lowered heads, and no one dared push open the creaking gates. But where others saw danger, one boy saw adventure. His name was Ajuma, son of Okeke the palm wine tapper. Ajuma was tall for his age, strong and restless like a river in the rainy season. He was curious and daring, and often scolded by elders for asking so many questions. Why should we fear a place simply because we were told to? He would ask. Is it not said that a child who washes his hands may dine with kings? If I uncover the truth of the forbidden compound, will I not bring honor to Umuaka? His mother often warned him, Ajuma, my son, stubbornness is the rope that ties a goat to its own doom. Leave that place alone. It has swallowed men stronger than you. But Ajuma's ears were closed like calabashes. Nothing entered. The mystery of the forbidden compound ate at him. He could not sleep at night without imagining what treasures or secrets lay hidden beyond those walls. One evening, during a moonlight gathering, the elders retold the story of the cursed king. Children huddled close, their eyes wide, the fire cracked, throwing sparks into the air. When the tale ended, Ajuma laughed softly and said, Fear makes even shadows look like a giant. Tomorrow, I will see with my own eyes what lies inside. The villagers gasped. Some shook their heads, others whispered, He is mad. But Ajuma's decision was firm. The next day, when the sun rose like hot palm oil spilling across the sky, Ajuma prepared from his mother's home. He carried a gourd of water, some roasted yams, and his father's old machete. His heart beat like a talking drum as he walked towards the compound. Birds fell silent when he drew near. The air grew heavy, and even the trees seemed to bend away from the walls. The vines covering the gates reared faintly as if alive. Ajuma hesitated for the first time. He remembered the elders' warnings, his mother's words, and the frightened whispers of children, but pride pushed him forward. He placed his hands on the ancient wood and pushed. The gate groaned, opening slowly as if resisting his strength. The sound echoed like thunder across the land. Inside, Ajuma gasped. The compound was big, larger than he had ever imagined. Strange carvings covered the walls, faces of men twisted in agony, animals with eyes of fire, spirits dancing in a circle. Grass glowed faintly underfoot as though kissed by moonlight, though it was broad day. At the center of the courtyard towered a mighty tree, its roots coiled like a giant serpent. Beneath each shade sat a clay pot covered with cowries and feathers. Ajuma stepped closer, his breath quickening. Suddenly a voice called out, Child of man, turn back. He spun around. From the branches above, a parrot as large as a hawk stared at him. Its feathers shimmered green and gold. its eyes bright as ambers. "This place is not for you," the bird croaked. "Go home before the spirits claimed you." Do you not know the proverb? He who pokes a leopard's eyes must not complain when claws find him. Ajuma swallowed hard but lifted his chin. "Parrot, I did not come this far to run. I seek truth, not fear." The parrot shook its head, feathers rustling. "The truth will find you then." With a screech, it took a flight and vanished into the sky. Ajuma pressed on. As he approached the mighty tree, the air grew colder, his breath misted, shadows lengthened unnaturally. Though the sun blazed overhead, the clay pot seemed to pulse like a living heart. He knelt before it and reached out a trembling hand. The moment his fingers brushed the cowries, the earth trembled. A wind hollowed through the compound, though no leaves stirred outside. The carvings on the walls seemed to move, their eyes glowing faintly. From the roots of the mighty tree rose a figure, tall, dark, and terrible, half man, half spirit, with eyes like a burning charcoal and a voice that rumbled like a thunder. "Why have you entered this place, mortal?" the spirit demanded. "Do you not know the oath that binds this compound?" Ajuma's knees shook, but he stood tall. "I am Ajuma, son of Okeke. I seek truth for my people. Why should we fear what we do not understand?" The spirit studied him for a long moment, then laughed, a sound that rattled the earth. "Your courage is great, but your wisdom is small. This compound holds greed of a great king who forgot the ways of the ancestors. When he died, we sealed his curse within these walls, so it would not poison the land. To touch his treasure is to awaken his doom." Before Ajuma could reply, the clay pot cracked open. From within spilled gold, ivory, and beads that shimmered like the morning sun. Treasures beyond imagining covered the ground, glowing with a light that hurt his eyes. Ajuma's heart raced. He thought of his poor mother, of the hard days of farm work, of the mockery of the youths who called him stubborn. With such riches, he could lift his family from poverty, bring pride to his name, and prove the elders wrong. The spirit's voice thundered again. "But know this, whoever claims the king's wealth must give something greater in return." Ajuma's hand shook as he reached towards the gold. Ajuma's finger brushed against the nearest bead at once. The ground shook as though it carried the weight of the mountains. The treasure shimmered brighter, blinding his eyes. A sudden pain tore through his arms and legs. He staggered back, clutching his chest. His skin burned, his veins throbbed like the drumming snakes. He tried to drop the bead, but it clung to his palm as though fused with his flesh. The spirit's laughter echoed through the compound. "Did I not warn you, child? Greed is a fire that consumes even the strongest tree." Ajuma gasped for breath. His legs buckled. He reached out for the trunk of the mighty tree to steady himself, but the moment he touched it, his skin began to harden. Brown cracks spread across his arms, his chest, his neck, back replacing the flesh. His toes split, burrowing into the soil like roots searching for water. "No, no," he cried. "Spirit, forgive me. I only wanted to bring honor to my people." But the spirit's voice boomed like a rolling thunder. "Honor built on disobedience is a shame. A child who does not heed to the drumbeat of the elders will dance to the rhythm of his own sorrow." Ajuma screamed. His voice grew weak, then deepened into a groan of wood. His arms stiffened, branching outward. Leaves sprouted from his fingertips. His eyes, wide with terror, glazed over and became knots of polished bark. In moments, Ajuma was no longer a boy. He was part of the mighty tree, his face carved forever into the trunk. Mouth frozen in a silent cry. Silence returned to the compound. The treasures vanished, swallowed by the earth. Only the mighty tree remained, now bearing the sorrowful likeness of Ajuma. The spirit faded back into the roots, its voice lingering in the air like a smoke. "Let this be a warning. The forbidden is not forbidden without a cause." The next morning, word spread quickly. The villagers gathered at the edge of the forbidden compound, staring at the gates that now hung half open. Some urged caution, but grief pressed them forward. Led by the elders, they entered. Their steps were heavy with fear, their breaths shallow. Inside they found no treasure, no footprints, only the great mighty tree, taller than before, its branches stretching wide as though embracing the sky. And there on the truck they saw it, Ajuma's face. His mother let out a wail that shook the birds from the trees. She fell to the ground crying. My son, did I not warn you? Did I not tell you that stubbornness is the rope of destruction? The villagers wept with her. The youths bowed their heads in silence. The elders shook their heads gravely. One of the elders lifted his staff and said, Children of Umuaka, behold the price of disobedience. Ajuma was bold, but boldness without wisdom is foolishness. He has become the guardian of what he sought to uncover. Let his faith be a lesson carved not only in the wood, but in our hearts. From that day, the forbidden compound became even more feared. Mothers warned their children, do not be like Ajuma, whose ears were close to wisdom. The tree still watches and the spirit still guard. At night, when the wind blew through the mighty leaves, villagers swore they heard a voice crying softly, Ajuma's voice pleading for help.